Hello everyone, today we're gonna look at the charging curve, the new charging curve of the Ioniq 5N, and the same charging curve should be in all the others new Ioniq 5 because it got a new battery. Before it was 74 kilowatt hours usable, now it went up to an 84 kilowatt hour battery, usable 80, which is awesome, gives you more range. I don't think that the weight changed at all because new technology and everything. And famously before, it's an 800 volt system, and before the Ioniq 5, like the Ioniq 6, Kia EV6, Kia EV9, had a peak charging power of 239 kilowatt, but that has changed. And we're gonna look at the charging session that I filmed of Ionity when I charged the car from 7 to 90%. Then we're gonna look at the charging curve, compare it to the old Ioniq 5, and also the kilowatt hours charged in over time, because that's the most important. And here we have it, Ionity. I start at 8%, sorry, and it goes up extremely quick to 238, then even above 240, 45 kilowatt, and it will gradually go up more and more to around 50%, where we get a peak of 265 kilowatt, and then it steps, it will go down, and the first step is to 211 kilowatt. Oh my god, we only get 338 amps or so. That's not a lot. But hello, look at this. We have an 800 volt system, 780 volt now at around 50%. Here's the first dip, and then soon we have the second dip to 200 kilowatt, and then the big dip down to 120 kilowatt. And this is what I think was different in my charging session than what Hyundai thinks the Ioniq 5, the new version, can do, because I do not get the 17 minutes that Hyundai says that this car can charge from 10 to 80%, even though the battery is bigger than in the old version. So a minute faster, but more energy into the battery. What I got is around 20 minutes or 19 minutes, something like this. And I didn't get that much power. And here at 80%, also important, the charging power goes down extreme. And at 85%, even more. And above 90% charging is not good. So from 10 to 80% is 3 times as fast as from 80 to 100%, but when you do it on a long distance trip, you don't need that power. We even have 38 kilowatt now at 87%, and this stays the same for a while, and then above 90% it even goes lower than this. But as you see, at 90% we almost have the 800 volt in the battery. That is just awesome. Here we have now this beautiful charging curve, and as you can see right away, within a few percent you get up to 240 kilowatt, and then steadily going up to here to the peak at 57%, 265 kilowatt, and then down, like I said, to 212, to 200, and then this dip. Who knows why that is? It even goes up a tiny bit, but not too much. But then from 77% on, it goes down extremely quick, and it's understandable because there was so much power into the battery. You can't have everything, eh? But now the comparison to the old Ioniq 5. This is a charging curve in blue from an EV6, which has the same battery. I charged an Ioniq 5 before and an Ioniq 6, but this was all in cold conditions. And when it didn't have, the Ioniq 6 did it, but the Ioniq 5 didn't have the battery preheating back then. But the EV6 was in the summer, and it looks like a very good charging curve. The only thing I had in the EV6 was a tiny dip down here at 85% or so, where I think the cooling couldn't manage, and it had to put the power down extreme for a minute or so, and then it went up and everything was fine. So in blue we have the old EV6, Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6 and so on charging curve, and in red is the new one. And as you can see, the new curve is above till 60 something percent. This is where the dip happened, around that number, and then at what is this, almost 70%, they're at the same again. This makes me believe that this one here is the error that happened. So something was not as perfect as it should have been. Too warm, too cold, I don't know. The battery in the Ioniq 5N said it was perfect for charging, no preheating needed, preconditioning. And then here, where the old curve goes on till above 80%, here at already 75%, the charging curve goes down. So this is the question which we're gonna answer in a second. How many kilowatt hours do you charge over time? Is it better at all? And here's the answer. We have the comparison here. In red is the EV6, in blue the Ioniq 5N. And as you can see, the kilowatt hours charged into the battery with the new charging curve is always above the old charging curve, but it's not a lot. It's not a gigantic difference. When we look at this after 10 minutes, Ioniq, the new one, charged 37 kilowatt hours into the battery, EV6 35, so 2 kilowatt hours more. At 20 minutes it's 1.6 kilowatt hours more, and at 30 minutes it's again 1.7 kilowatt hours more. There was the dip of the EV6 as well. So yes, it charges faster into the battery. It's not even, and if you think it's a bigger battery, that's really awesome. So the new charging curve of the Ioniq 5 and what the new EV6, the facelift, will also have, and is really awesome. They improved the charging even more, even though before it was an amazing charging curve. That is just awesome. And when I go back here, you can see the times from 10 to 80%, where in the EV6 I needed 18 minutes, which was the advertised time from 10 to 80%. In this test with the Ioniq 5N, it took me 20 minutes, but still we got more kilowatt hours in because the battery is bigger. But that's exactly what we want from a newer EV, a bigger battery, more range, not heavier, not higher consumption, and a better charging curve. And Kia and Hyundai have achieved all of these things, so top marks for that. That is awesome. So when you get your new facelift Ioniq 5 or soon the Kia EV6, it's gonna be better in all those aspects, and that is really awesome. Applause. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.